everyone, I'm Nick, and I am the Buddy Coordinator for the Uppsala University Buddy Program through the Uppsala Student Union. I've been elected to represent for you here at the program and coordinate the events, as well as make the matches for the 2021-2022 school year. And I'm going to go ahead and go through the introduction slide so that we can get to know about the program better. If you're participating as a buddy, I'll go over the expectations for you. And if you're participating as a newbie and you're joining us for the first time this year and this semester in the spring, then I'll go over what you can expect as well. There's also some other useful information that I've incorporated into the slides. When you're watching the video, when it's uploaded, you'll be able to go through and skip to the different chapters. So if you're not a buddy, you can go ahead and watch just the newbie section, or if you're a buddy, then you can just watch your section that's for you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nick. I want to take the time to do it now just in case there are quite a few of you, and the last semester has shown me that due to COVID regulations, you may not get to meet me. Unfortunately, I try and get to know everyone, but just in case, hi, I'm Nick, and I am the Buddy Coordinator for this academic year. I'm originally from Chicago, and I graduated with a Bachelor in Psychology from Purdue University. And in 2015, I hopped on a plane and moved to Hong Kong for 5 years. So I was working there and teaching little kids. As you can see on the slide that we're showing now, one of my students here, really cute, he just turned 5 years old on that day, and he gave me my Chinese name. Apart from living overseas a couple times now, I've been able to travel a good portion of the world, as you can see in the map of all the red countries that I've gotten to go to. So if you're from one of those places, I've been close to somewhere where you're from. And I also really enjoy arts. The logo here is from my own personal website and my own paintings and such. And finally, maybe the last most, not important thing, but something interesting to know about me. I'm pretty friendly and I'm very social, but there is one thing I don't really like, and that's seafood. Sorry, just not my favorite thing. All these things are important about me. I think that it would be great to get to know more about you. If you want to send me an email and share something that you think that you'd like, or when we're in person, you're welcome to share and talk to me about anything you need. Personal issues, private issues, or issues with the program, please just let me know and I'll make sure that I handle it on an individual basis and try and make sure that you're comfortable, taken care of, and that everything is going great for you this semester. All right, so let's go ahead and start by talking about the overall program mission for the Buddy program. One of the best things about it is it's a great opportunity for you to make new friends with people, especially ones who have already been studying here. If you're a newbie or if you're an existing student, you get to meet people from all over the different parts of the world. You can have language exchange, just learn more about people from different cultures, and also just generally help them adapt and learn how to live in Sweden. If you're not from Sweden yourself, you might have a unique experience, or if you're Swedish, you can help show them around with a bit more enthusiasm about things that you enjoy about living here in Uppsala. One of the other great things that you can do is help them adjust to the first few weeks of them starting their program. Some of the students who are coming here in spring will be staying here for longer than a year, but some will be staying for a relatively short period of time just for their exchange. So either part of the exchange program is really important for them to be able to get to know the city quite well, quite quickly. For students who are here longer though, they may be asking for help and assistance with things such as maybe potentially finding different places to go shopping at, or if they need help with advice about different ways to get to different cities if they want to travel. There's a whole lot of different things that they may want to request from you, but the program is really here to help the new students who are arriving, but also give the buddies who are already here the opportunity to share what they have and also just have a good time and enjoy the events that they work on planning together. So then, what can you expect? Well, honestly, the most important thing that I think that you can get from the engagement of being in the program is just honestly getting to know new people. Especially for those of you who are coming here for the first time, getting to know people who have already lived here will be able to give you much better advice about study habits or the different great restaurants or bars to go to. You can also get advice on things like how to find different bankings or places that you can stay when you're traveling throughout the country. It's also really great just to have people to know, as a lot of you may be traveling for the first time, where you'll be staying overseas for an extended period of time. So it's a great opportunity for everyone, and altogether, I think it's very rewarding for everyone as well. Just a quick note about the program time period. We'll be going from the 10th of January until the 1st of March. So hopefully, because the last day to sign up is on January 7th, I'll be getting all of the buddy and newbie matches out on the 8th or 9th of January. But then upon the 10th, we'll be able to go ahead and you'll be able to officially start with events or meeting your newbies or buddies if they're already in the city. And most importantly is that you'll know that there's a clear cutoff date. Although the cutoff date is for me as the coordinator, you can still continue to use the Facebook group, and you can still, of course, try and contact me if you need any assistance, but you can still, of course, spend time with your buddy or newbies. It's just for the program coordination time, as it gives us a certain period of time to make sure that all the events are within the first part of the semester, just so that we have everything in order. Next, I just want to mention something really quick. I'm not sure what you've heard from other places or other sources. Different countries have different types of regulations right now, but Uppsala University and Sweden still have COVID regulations. I know that they're probably going to stay the same most of the program time. So if you have any questions, you can use the two links that are on the slide below. One is from the Public Health Agency and the other one is from the Crisis Network that we have here in Sweden. Both of them are great places to find new information and are updated regularly. You can also check the university website and contact your instructors or coordinators if you have any questions. You can also contact me, but most importantly is to make sure that you're following whatever the recommendation or regulations are while you're here, as they may change. This next slide is actually really interesting. Maybe not for those of you who are here, as you may know these places already, but for those of you who are coming, there's a lot of new signs and symbols and names that you're probably getting used to. So on this slide, I want to introduce to you a few important things. The first one, of course, is the Student Union, which is what I'm working with in order to help provide this program for you. And there's also Uppsala University as well. We work together to help provide the buddy program. But in between these two images, there is a image called Student Boet. This is a housing help service, and they also help post ads of available housing through the Student Union. It's a really, really great resource for you to be able to use. So if you haven't learned about it before now, definitely check them out, especially if you're considering getting your own apartment or if you're not being offered housing through the university housing office. The next two are the local governments. You have the regional Uppsala government as well as the Uppsala Kommun, which is the city government of Uppsala. If you've never seen these before, they're very useful to know just because they're great places to go for resources, not only about living in Uppsala, but also dealing with things like healthcare or educational resources or even just public events. I personally go to Uppsala Kommun once a week to check out the things and the new updates that they have, and that's a really great resource, especially while you're living here, especially for those of you who are going to be staying for a bit longer period of time. The next one is 1177, which is the local health agency. It's all around Sweden, and it's actually the phone number as well if you're to dial it. You can call and ask for health advice, making or booking appointments if you need to, or also going through and talking to somebody if you have any questions about the different healthcare that is available to you. The last three are official institutions, and you have the Public Health Agency of Sweden, which is once again something that you might want to be paying attention to, especially while COVID regulations are still there. Then you have the Skatteverket, which is the tax office. If you're going to be staying here longer than a year, you'll need to make sure that you register there. And finally, the one that we're probably all familiar with at this point is Migrationsverket, which is the migration agency. I hope this has explained some of these signs or details that you have in the future, but if there's any places, once again, please let me know. I think that most of the time that people are looking for new things, they don't understand what all the different options are. But if you're looking for resources, if you look for these different resources from the student union to the university, any of the local government or the public health agencies or the official agencies like that of the tax office, you'll be able to find whatever information you need very quickly. And things here are very centralized and easy to find. One more thing that I think you might find interesting, especially for those of you who are just coming here for the first time, although this has nothing to do with the program or the university, are the emergency contact numbers. Something that I find useful that you can put in your phone just in case, although when you come here to Sweden, when you're using your phone, they will direct you automatically on most smartphones. But 112 or 112 is for all emergencies. These are the very serious emergencies. They will call the health department, fire departments, ambulance services, sea rescue, and many, many more. The next one is 1177, which is for medical advice, like I stated before. Then you have 11414, which is for the police, but for non-acute emergencies. And then the final one is 11313, which is for information about acute incidents or non-acute incidents that you think are worth mentioning. Perhaps you've seen something that you just don't have a good feeling about, or you notice that something in the public space is broken or in a dangerous position. You can contact this number instead. If you ever need to contact me, I'm really easy to get a hold of. You can, of course, use the Facebook group if you've joined already, but I would prefer that you contact me through email, and my email is buddy@uskar.se. Okay, so this next section, I'm going to try and go through as quickly as I can, is for you buddies, those of you who have joined and are existing students here at Uppsala University and want to participate in the program this semester. I'm going to go through explaining the different kinds of groups that you're going to have, planning responsibilities, and also just general rules and regulations about participation. The first thing I want to talk about are the buddy groups. Depending upon the number of participants and the number of buddies that we'll have after the selection goes through, we'll have buddy groups where you'll be assigned to a few other buddies who will receive their email as contact. And this just gives you a group of people that you will be able to contact if you want to work on planning events together. Of course, you may form your own groups if you like and you know another buddy and you want to work together. That's totally fine. But I'll be able to share with you at least a list of contacts of people who know that you may be contacting them and requesting assistance, help, or just general advice. You can also reach out to the buddy leader, who I'll try and select for each group based on those who responded to say they'd like to be the buddy group leader. And those are people who have a very minimal responsibility, but basically will try and help if another buddy in their group asks for help, they'll try and do their best to help them. But also, if I request any information or feedback, they'll be able to go through and give me feedback from that as well. Next, let me talk about buddy planning. This is something that I think is really important, especially considering the time period is during the winter, but also because the program time is only about 6 weeks long. There's a few different types of planning that you'll be doing as a buddy, and some more than others. The first one here is planning your individual group events, which you don't have to advertise to any other groups. This is just the buddy, yourself, as well as your assigned newbies. These are things like going out to dinner, maybe seeing a movie together, walking around town, taking a trip somewhere if you like, whatever you and your group want to do. But I'd like to have each buddy participate about 6 to 8 of these per program time period. So about once a week. The next one is where you can work alone as a buddy or with other buddies to form a group, and you can plan an event that's available to all participants. If you're going to plan a group that's available to all participants, please follow the expectations that I have sent in an email with the different expectations for planning events. But just to make it simple is that if you're working to plan an event together, you should be making sure that the event is advertised to all of the participants through the Facebook group at least 3 days in advance. That way people will be able to see that the event is open. If you need to set regulations for the number of participants because of the venue size or COVID regulations, that's totally okay, but it needs to be available for anyone else to participate, any buddies or newbies, and it needs to be shared, like I said, at least 3 days in advance. The individual groups, I expect mostly to be what you'll be doing together. It won't be a super challenging thing from what I've gotten from the buddies in the last semester, but the one thing is that the most common requests that the newbies have given is that they want to have more events done together with their individual groups, as well as more buddy groups coming together and doing things like competitions and such. The last and most important thing, I think, for any event planning, especially for this buddy program, because of the time period, a lot of the students who are coming here may not, for example, have Swish or a bank account during their time. So I suggest and ask, really, please do not have money exchanging hands. If you're going to go ahead and plan an event, please make sure that the event is either free, that it is paid for individually for each participant, or as the buddy program will be receiving funds, which at the time of recording this video have not been approved. If you request, as a buddy, request the funds from the student union to be used, then those funds will be able to cover the cost of the event, with perhaps exception for transportation and such. But you'll have to get a hold of me if you want to plan an event using the funds. So once again, the events are free, everyone pays for themselves, or you get the money from the student union. Just a quick note about buddy participation. All the buddies are welcome to participate in as little or few events of the shared events that are posted. If you really only have time and you want to engage with your own individual groups, that's fine. But if you're planning an event that's being shared to the rest of the participants in the program, you need to be available on that day to lead the event. And also you should feel comfortable leading the event that you're planning. The example I always give is if you want to take a group of people to Stockholm and maybe go visit the museums, but you yourself don't know the transportation or the locations of the museums, it's probably not a great idea for you to lead that one, and maybe suggest it to a buddy who's more comfortable. I think it's also important that you take the time to make sure that you're enjoying yourself as buddies as you're volunteering and participating, but also make sure that throughout the events that you're participating, if it's with your group or even while you're with other groups together on an outing or event of some sort, to make sure that the other newbies are enjoying themselves too. Sometimes students coming here maybe have a tendency to be a bit shy or quiet, or join something, and even though they're not really enjoying themselves, still participate. So take that little extra moment to share that bit of kindness with everyone in order to make sure that not just you, but the whole group is enjoying themselves as much as possible. Next, I'd just like to give you a quick special reminder. Although it is during the spring program, this is definitely during the winter time, as the program goes from the 10th of January until the 1st of March. Hopefully towards the end of February we'll be able to get some warmer weather, but please try and plan activities that are friendly for winter. If you have winter sports or certain winter hiking activities, for example, that you want to do, that's great, but just be aware that some of your newbies may not be as accustomed to the cold weather, so maybe even taking them to like a secondhand store, or to get winter clothing, or to take them to an indoor event or something would be a better idea. Get to know your newbies and ask them what they want, but when you're planning events for the entire program, please make sure to try and organize those events so that they can be held safely indoors, and if there are restrictions, make sure you know what those restrictions are. I'm almost done with the section about buddies. However, one thing that I want to mention is the general comments that I got from the past participants, especially the newbies that came through. The number one comment, which is, you can see here a few examples, were that the buddies really wanted more buddy planned activities for their small groups, but also for the buddies to advertise that to other buddy groups in order to have competitions or shared events together. This is the number one thing, and so because of that, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the new participation rules that I'm going to ask all the participating buddies to follow in order to get the participation certificate. If you've never been a buddy before, and this is your first time, then you may not know, but you will get a participation certificate at the end of the program. Because of the past recommendations, and in order to make sure that this semester, as we're going to have a generally smaller number of newbies coming in the springtime, and therefore a smaller number of groups, I'd like to try and make sure that the buddies are participating as fully as possible. Therefore, I've set some new rules that I've checked with the student union to make sure that they're fair and acceptable. And these rules are going to be in order for you to get the participation certificate. So first, you must apply by January 7th of 2022. I will allow some exceptions if I am in need of more buddies, but for the most part, it seems like everyone should be able to apply on time. The next one will be that you'll plan at least 6 events or gatherings for your individual groups. I say plan, but really these could just be any events that you engage with your newbies and the buddies put together. And the amount of planning for that, like I said, is very minimal. Your newbies may not always be able to attend, but what's important is that you make the effort and then also, of course, record it on a Google Doc sheet that I will make sure that I send out to you to your emails. And then finally, the last thing is that you need to make sure that you go through and you plan at least one event that's available to all the participants. Like I said, you can set restrictions for the number of people participating if necessary. But this is something that I really want to push this semester just because, 1, it is winter, 2, it's what was highly requested, but also 3, it makes the participating better for everyone as it gives us more opportunities to meet with each other and also allows you to get to know more people and bring the buddy groups closer together. You can, of course, work on this one event with another buddy or a group of buddies, and it will still count for each of you as planning one event, so teamwork will definitely help. But it could be any event that you think is interesting, and if you have any questions or want assistance in planning this event that's available to the entire group, please ask me. I'm more than willing to help you as far as also advertising it or helping you find locations and such. Just email me, let me know, and I can even meet with you in person if you want. We can discuss it. The very, very last thing is just to make sure that you, of course, fill out the certification form when it comes out. It'll be towards the end of the program time, and if I see if you have applied for it and you've completed the following requirements, which I've just mentioned, then you'll be able to get the certificates, and we'll make sure we get that out to you before the end of the program or slightly after March 1st. Okay, let me go ahead now and start talking about the newbie expectations. And this is once again talking about the different groups, the ways you can participate, and the planning that you're expected to do. So if you are a newbie for the first time and you're joining us here in Uppsala, welcome. You're going to hear that many times, but I definitely mean it. I'm so happy to finally be able to see you and meet you when the time comes. But the first thing is that you should be knowing that you will be added to an individual group with a buddy who's an existing student here at Uppsala University who's studied for at least one semester, and that you'll be able to go ahead and join in the events with other buddy groups, with your individual group, or with events that are advertised towards all participants. It's definitely good for you to feel free to make friends with different buddies or with different buddy groups. By no means are we taking tallies on anything that you're doing here or the people that you meet. And of course, also feel free to get to know anyone outside. But just know that this is a very flexible program that we're trying to make open to help support you for your first few weeks here, make fun events for everyone to do, but also be support that you can come to if you need help with something, general advice, or a direction of where to go. Next, I just want to tell you newbies about what you should be doing for planning. Realistically, you shouldn't be doing any planning. I don't think it's appropriate, as you're the ones who are coming here, you're the ones who are seeking out assistance and help, and you're the ones who the program is meant to be supporting the most. So I ask that no newbies plan individual events or advertise events on their own. However, you are most welcome to give feedback to your buddy or another buddy and share that so that they can then plan that event. So although you're not responsible for it, you can of course give them the inspiration or motivation to plan the type of events that you want to go through, within reason of course. Also, you should be able to be timely to the events that are planned for you, for your individual groups or even for larger events. Some of them may be, for example, meeting at the train station at the correct time, or meeting at a restaurant, or replying to an RSVP on time. So please make sure you can do that, and also be able to financially support yourself for the event if the event is advertised as you needing to pay for something. It may be a train ticket or a bus pass or a meal at a restaurant. If you're not able to participate, then because of financial reasons, you should be letting your buddies know, or if it's an event that's planned for you by me, the buddy coordinator, you can contact me ahead of time. But the general request is that everyone is able to pay for their engagement, be there on time, and unless the buddy program is paying for the event, in which case you'll know beforehand that the event is paid for already, then you may just be responsible for paying for transportation. Last note is that no one should be forced to do anything that they're uncomfortable with. No one should be intimidated or excluded, and definitely no one should be put into a dangerous position. If you feel uncomfortable, by all means, you feel welcome to leave the situation. If there are any problems, like I said, you're always welcome to contact me and let me know, and I'll try and mediate that for you. Just a quick note for you newbies about what's expected of your participation. You get to basically participate as little or as much as you want. Although I have gotten feedback from past buddies that when the newbies are not participating, it's just as unfun as when the buddies are not participating. So because you signed up for the program, I would at least make sure to make the time to try and get to know your buddy, go out on different events with them. And if you are going to have other events where you want to just join in, make sure you try and invite them too. They're there to support you, they're there to be friendly with you, but you can enjoy whatever events we've planned that are advertised to you, or if you know another group is going on a trip and you want to join them, you should be able to join them as well. You should also be really able and comfortable with speaking to anyone who's in the group. So if we have a gathering together, or for example, if you see me on the street, by all means, you should be able to say hello, just introduce yourself, share your name, tell them that you're in the buddy program, and I will, of course, have all the time in the world for you. But if you're in a group of new people and you don't know them, just introduce yourself and say, hey, my name is Nick. I'm in the buddy program too, and I'm really interested in what you're talking about. And you should be totally accepted within that conversation or activity, and no one should be excluding anybody for any reason. If, however, you do experience negativity of any form, or if your buddy is not fulfilling their roles, or you feel generally like there's something that you want more of or the program is missing, I am very welcome to criticism, or very also welcome to helping you mediate any issues. You can, of course, contact me through email, and I'll try and help you the best that I can. Most importantly, and perhaps the way I speak makes things sound a bit more official, but the point is to really have fun. You should be engaging with these new people because overwhelmingly, when you've all sent in your replies, the number one thing that everyone seems to want to do is either get to know new people or get to know new people and exchange cultures. There's so many of us that are here at the university together who want to exchange culture, who want to have fun together. It is what you make it, but more importantly is to try and have fun, make sure that everyone's enjoying themselves. And if you're not, take a moment to sit back and try and think about what you can do to go forward and make the time enjoyable for not only yourself, but for everyone else who's involved. Another thing that I think is good, this is just some general advice that you may find useful for your time, maybe some thoughts that might be beneficial for you in the long run while you're here in Uppsala is first, just ask. It's better to be able to ask for help than do it alone, trust me. You can suffer from not asking, or you can go ahead and ask and get the answer easier. Here at the Student Union, if you come into the reception desk, we're more than welcome to help you. If you email me, I'll try my best to lead you in the right direction. But trust me, whenever you move to a new country or whenever you're dealing with people perhaps you've never had engagements with before, it's super great to just ask for help. Next is be open. We accept everyone as they are, and just because someone's very different than you or has different expectations than what you have, it's best to focus on the things that you can do together versus the things that you can't do. You need to make sure that you're respectful to everybody, of course, and accepting people as they are. People come from all sorts of different places with all sorts of different traditions or beliefs, and instead of creating arguments that may be unpleasant, try and enjoy the people that are around you and bring up things that you enjoy talking about instead of maybe things that are not as comfortable. The next one is to be inclusive. Of course, as I mentioned before, let everyone that's in the program, accept them as they are and bring them into the group, but also try and be together, because that's ultimately what the program is here for and what everyone else wanted when they told me when they signed up. Last is to make sure you trust your gut and, of course, be yourself. If something doesn't feel right, please make sure that you get out of that situation and find help. But also make sure that you're always being yourself, be true to who you are. We don't want anybody else. So last, just to remind you, if you have any other questions or concerns, please send me an email at buddy@uskar.se. I really look forward to getting in contact with all of you and seeing you all soon. But most importantly is if you have anything that you want to bring up, or if you have any recommendations or feedback, please let me know. And of course, if you're having any problems, definitely bring that up with me as soon as possible so I can try and help you. Thanks again for joining me and watching this introduction video. I hope I've been able to clarify everything for you. If I haven't, feel free to send me an email at the address mentioned before, and I hope that I get to see all of you really soon. Thank you so much for joining me. One last time before we say goodbye, if you need to send me an email, you can always contact me at buddy@uskar.se. You can also come into the student union here in Uppsala when you arrive. Or of course you can try and get a hold of me through the Facebook group if you prefer that as well. But emails are best. So just to let you know, thank you very much for watching the video. If you need help with anything, or if you have any questions about how to participate, or if you need assistance with something during your time, you can always reach out to me. I'm here to help all of the buddies as well as all the newbies to the best of my ability. Thank you very much.